We all know about Geraldo, the mystic shopkeeper who has many of the most useful items in the game. But what items are the best? Well, let's find out. For this top 10, I'll be looking at how useful these items are, how good they are at what they do, and their cost. And that's really it. The title is pretty self-explanatory, as well as this list being my general opinion. But without further ado, let's get lifting.
We all love being farmers, especially during boss events, and even if Benjamin is your go-to for bosses, Geraldo works very well too thanks to his Fertilizer. Fertilizer can be used on all farm paths, but it's mainly known for its great synergy with top path farms. Only costing around $300, this Fertilizer increases the amount of money that bananas give you by 20%. So your banana research facilities will now give you $360 instead of $300, and the Banana Central gives you $1,440 instead of $1,200. Of course, 20% isn't much in the short run, but it's massive in the long run. Take this. 4,400 banana research facilities make $24,000 in 5 rounds. Now if we add Geraldo's Fertilizer into the mix, that number skyrockets to $33,000. That's nearly a 40% increase in cash. Now he does get this item at level 9, which might be a little late for your liking, but it's certainly a useful item for what it's worth, and it will certainly earn you the extra cash in the long run.
The utility of a blade maelstrom is extremely powerful thanks to its high pierce, so always having one on you is really useful and convenient for crowd control situations. And it just so happens that Geraldo has one of these on him. Costing $650, just place one of these onto the track and any balloon that goes over it will make it go off. This is great for rounds like 63 and 78 since the high pierce makes dealing with the grouped balloons much easier. It's also great for Moab heavy rounds since it allows you to get in a lot of damage on clusters of Moabs. And if that wasn't enough, it gets upgraded to a Super Maelstrom at level 15. It doesn't have the added duration, but it becomes much stronger. If you need a quick yet efficient way to deal damage, the Blade Trap is your best friend.
Haven't you ever seen one of those pets at the pet store and just thought, I want one? Thanks to Geraldo, we now have our very own pet rabbit to aid us in battle. Now one rabbit doesn't do anything by itself, and so does 2 or 3 of them, but once you get the 4th rabbit, they all merge into some crazy killer rabbit. This new pet rabbit of ours zooms around the map dealing damage. This fella is actually pretty strong, one-shotting ceramics and generally having a good TPS. It's nothing too special, but a good sub DPS to have if you have the extra money. That being said, each rabbit costs around $2,000, but that price is easier to achieve in the later rounds. They say a good, sharpened knife is useful for slicing and dicing ingredients with ease, but knives aren't the only thing that get aided from being sharp. With Geraldo's Sharpening Stone, you can increase the pierce of projectiles like darts, blades, and even sawdust swords. It's really convenient if you need some extra pierce for an upcoming round since it's really cheap and easy to use, and it even grants additional pierce at level 15. Now it only affects towers with a sharp attacking type, so towers like the Wizard Monkey and Bomb Shooter can't be affected. But if you're doing a strategy that revolves around a tower such as the Tack Zone, then this Sharpening Stone will be of great use. Pickles can be hit or miss when adding flavor to food, but they never miss when increasing a hit on balloons, and the jar of pickles proves that point. Using one of these on a tower will make it pop an additional layer, but also attack slightly slower. The main requirement of using the jar of pickles is knowing what towers it's good on, since it mainly aids towers that have more damage per second but less damage per shot. For example, putting a jar of pickles on a Sun Avatar is great since it attacks really fast and only does around 1 layer of general damage. But putting a jar of pickles on a Sniper Monkey with large caliber isn't the best since the Sniper Monkey is already doing roughly 7 layers of damage and is shooting really slowly. But once you know when and what towers to use the jar of pickles on, it becomes a really great buff for your towers.
Haven't you ever wanted to experience what it's like to have no ability cooldown? Even if you haven't, Geraldo's Rejuvenation Potion allows that to happen. Or I guess just go to the challenge editor. Using this potion resets all ability cooldowns and restores lives. Now to be honest, you'll barely be using this thing for the life restoration, but the ability cooldown can be used in so many ways. You can use multiple first strikes, SAR bombas, supply drops, jungle's bounties, grappling hooks, IMF loans, overclocks, spike storms, call to arms, Literally any item that allows you to use an ability more than once is a good item. Anyways, I think my point has gone through. Being able to use abilities multiple times is always a good thing. NFTs are often seen as a joke, even though they are, but the rare Quincy action figure is 100% worth it for its price. It's essential to get this thing down early. That's because every round after it's placed, the sell value increases. For example, if you place this down at round 10 at its initial $600 to $700 price, by round 60, the sell value skyrockets to over $20,000. Remember, you're placing this down for $600 to $700. That means within those 50 rounds, the sell value went up by over 3,000%. This item is great to use when you're in the late rounds of a run and need extra money. It's like building up interest, except you don't need to pay it back and you can just take the money whenever you need it. It's overall just a great money-making item that makes you absurd amount of cash when you need it. Hot sauce, like the name implies, adds spice to whatever you desire. Burgers, burritos, quesadillas, tacos, and more taste amazing with added hot sauce. Types such as sriracha add a good flavor, tapatio is amazing with just about anything, that spice in buldak ramen tastes so flavorful, spicy noodles are done just right, and the list goes on. In fact, one time I was at this store and saw a giant bottle of tapatio, so I had to pick it up. It's such a game changer to everything I eat. I just love— wait, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the bottle of Gerry's Fire Hot Sauce is very useful for extra damage. Place this onto a tower and it'll give them a companion equivalent to a Dragon's Breath Wizard. It's surprisingly much stronger than it seems, and getting down a bunch of these will make your defenses unstoppable. Now yeah, it can't pop purples, but you'll likely be putting this on a tower that can pop purples, so it's fine. Really, if you want some good damage output for a short but needed amount of time, then this item is your best friend. Paragons are on a level that no other monkey can achieve, and the Paragon Power Totem increases that level even more. Now for starters, this thing is a whopping $20,000. That's pretty expensive, but a fair amount if you're aiming to get a Paragon. Now it's hard to explain the exact benefits of the Paragon Power Totem word for word, but what you need to know is that these are essential for degree 100 Paragons. And for reference, the max degree you can get in single player is around 75, so these Paragon Totems give about 30 degrees worth of power. Now it does take a while to set up, but you don't need a degree 100 Paragon to make this useful. Sometimes just a few extra degrees of power is all you need. But yeah, an essential part for making high degree Paragons. Make a wish. Go on. If you wished for number 1 to be the Genie Bottle, then your wish came true. If you didn't, well, that's too bad. I'll be honest, I had a hard time choosing between the Genie Bottle and the Paragon Power Totem for the number 1 spot. Both excel at what they do, but the Paragon Power Totem is really only useful in bosses and free play runs, so I gotta give it to the Genie Bottle, which can be useful anywhere. Placing this item down summons a genie. Now he doesn't grant any wishes, but man is he strong. It's hard to describe its strength exactly, but for some reference, it one-shots ceramics, sees camos, and can solo round 80. It's great if you need extra damage, as it applies lots of extra damage, and it gets an additional attack at level 18, which brings its strength to a point where it can pop the outer layer of a bad on round 100. This genie is essential to late game chimps runs on harder maps, since its damage output is just so high, and you can get down 2 at a time, which means you can have double the amount of popping power for the really hard rounds if you need. Overall, the Genie Bottle is a very powerful item, and it'll certainly prove that to you. As someone who didn't really use Geraldo that much before making this list, I'd now say that he's a really fun hero to use. And on a bit of a side note, now that this video has released, I might just make a list like this that involves Corvus, but you'll just have to wait and see what I mean. Anyways, tell me in the comments what you think Geraldo's best item is. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!